Among the many grotesque, surreal, and deeply unsettling characters in Courage the Cowardly Dog, few are as memorably disturbing as Freaky Fred. Introduced in the episode of the same name, Fred is a soft-spoken, pale-skinned barber with an unsettling grin and an even more unsettling obsession. He cannot resist the compulsion to cut hair. Yet, beneath the surface of this creepy caricature lies a nuanced portrayal of obsessive-compulsive disorder, an explicit commentary on mental illness, and a masterfully constructed character who dances between horror and tragedy with poetic ease. Fred is Muriel's nephew, polite, well-mannered, and quick to smile. But from the moment he appears on screen, something feels deeply wrong. His words flow with a sing-song cadence, spoken exclusively in rhyming verse, as though his every thought has passed through a filter of childlike whimsy. His posture is relaxed, his tone is gentle, and yet a sense of dread follows him like a shadow. What makes Fred frightening is not what he does initially, but what he is, a man bound by an overwhelming psychological urge he cannot suppress.
I said my name is Fred, and I've been very naughty.
What do you mean by that?
Fred's condition, though never named explicitly in the show, is widely interpreted as Trickotillamania, a rare psychological disorder involving the compulsive cutting of hair. Trickotillamania manifests as a repetitive, obsessive behavior often tied to a deeper form of OCD. This takes a disturbing turn in Fred's case, as he expresses this obsession not on himself, but on others, tiny helpless animals and people. It's not enough for him to cut hair, it must be hair that's not his own. It must be, in his words, naughty. Fred's compulsions are the core of his character. They control his actions, steer his thoughts, and shape his worldview. He does not perceive his behavior as malicious, but as naughty, a word he repeats often, dripping with playful deviance and sinister innocence.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
There is a tragic duality here. Fred knows what he does is unacceptable by societal standards. He has been institutionalized for it, and yet he cannot help himself. His compulsion overrides morality. He is not evil in the traditional sense. He lacks malice, hatred, or intent to cause pain. Instead, Fred is a prisoner to his mind, bound by an irresistible ritual that brings him disturbing satisfaction and haunting regret. This paradox is what makes Fred a brilliant example of how Courage the Cowardly Dog weaves horror and humanity. Fred is a villain of sorts, but he is not wicked. He is not seeking revenge or power or dominance. He is a deeply unwell individual whose disorder has made him a danger to others and to himself. His episode ends not with punishment, but with restraint. He is sent back to the institution, a place not of imprisonment, but treatment. The horror here isn't the monster, it's the mind unraveling from within. Fred's characterization draws clear inspiration from Sweeney Todd. You know, the infamous demon barber of Fleet Street. You know that one guy that was saying Joanna. Yeah, that one. Joanna. Like Todd, Fred is a barber with a grotesque fixation on grooming, but whereas Todd is driven by revenge and a lust for blood masked as professionalism, Fred is innocent in a way that is somehow even more terrifying. He doesn't kill, he doesn't scream, he rhymes, he smiles. His acts of compulsion are silent and calculated, not sadistic but obsessive. This subtle difference makes Fred more disturbing because he's not a monster in the classical sense, he is sick, and his sickness has social consequences. Fred is also a mirror held up to society's discomfort with mental illness. His nickname Freaky Fred and his commitment to a home for freaky barbers are stigmatized. Despite Muriel's kindness and obliviousness to Eustace, Fred is clearly not trusted. Even Courage, who can sense danger where others are blind, is immediately terrified. And while this fear is justifiable given Fred's history, it also speaks to a broader social fear of those who are mentally ill. Fred is not portrayed as someone who needs understanding. He is someone to be avoided, watched, and locked away. The show intentionally or not critiques this alienation. Even when the episode ends with Fred returning to the asylum, it is not portrayed as punishment, but as an acknowledgement of his struggle and a necessary step towards managing his condition. The horror is never Fred's illness, it's what happens when that illness is misunderstood, left unchecked, and allowed to consume someone entirely. Another critical dimension of Fred's character is how the episode plays with tone. Despite the sinister subject matter, Fred's rhyming narration is eerily whimsical. His rhymes are carefully crafted, laced with repetition and rhythm that evoke nursery rhymes or fairy tales. This style creates a cognitive dissonance. The content is dark, but the delivery is light. Fred isn't just doing frightening things, he's delighting in them, poetically narrating each moment like it's a bedtime story. The horror then is psychological, not in the gore or violence, but in the disconnection between tone and intent. Fred's skill of repelling people, as mentioned in some interpretations of his character, can be seen metaphorically. His very presence creates discomfort. People don't understand him, and so they avoid him. This mirrors how individuals with unsettling behaviors or misunderstood conditions are often pushed to the margins. Fred's skill is not supernatural, it is societal. He doesn't push people away, his strangeness does. Despite only appearing in a single episode and making like small cameos in other ones, Fred remains one of the most iconic characters in Courage the Cowardly Dog. His impact lies in how he embodies fear, not of monsters or the supernatural, but the unfamiliar, obsessive, and mentally unwell. He represents the thin line between eccentricity and illness, and how that line, when crossed, can manifest in deeply unsettling ways. He is a cautionary tale about what happens when compulsion overrides control and how society responds to that disruption. In the end, Fred is not evil, he is not cruel, he is sick, and that sickness is what makes him truly frightening. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
If I was slightly naughty.
Yeah.